Imagine a business that costs $500 million to build, where a single room can cost over $400,000 just to exist, and where, after all of that, the rooms themselves are barely profitable. Some of the most famous luxury hotels on earth make more money from a plate of pasta and a wedding than from the beds people sleep in. And the richest players in this game have quietly figured out something stranger still. The smartest way to own a five-star hotel is to not own it at all. It's a five-star hotel. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why the rooms are almost a decoy, why a hotel at 85% full can still lose money, and the invisible trick that lets a company run a hotel it doesn't own and keep the profit anyway. Let's break down the economics of owning a five-star hotel. So, you want to own a five-star hotel. First, the wall you hit before a single guest arrives. The cost of building the thing. This is one of the most capital-intensive businesses on the planet. For upper upscale and luxury properties, the median development cost runs around $409,000 per room. Per room. So a modest 200-room luxury hotel is an $80 million project before you buy a single pillow. And the grand ones, the marble lobby, rooftop pool, 5 restaurant icons, routinely run into the hundreds of millions or beyond. And it doesn't happen fast. A luxury hotel takes 3 to 5 years to develop, during which you're spending enormous sums and earning absolutely nothing. Lenders know this, which is why financing a ground-up luxury hotel is so cautious, that the industry has quietly shifted toward converting existing buildings instead. The conversion pipeline recently hit a record. Building a five-star hotel from scratch has become almost too expensive and too slow to justify. Okay, say you've built it or bought it. Now, how does it actually make money? And here's where the myth falls apart. Everyone assumes a hotel sells rooms. The core metric the whole industry lives and dies by is called RevPAR, revenue per available room. You take your occupancy rate, multiply it by your average nightly rate, and that tells you how much each room earns whether it's filled or not. Luxury hotels in major markets aim for a RevPAR above $200, and in London or New York, the best properties push far higher. Sounds like a lot, but here's the trap hiding inside that number. RevPAR only measures room revenue. It says nothing about what it costs to generate it. And a five-star hotel is monstrously expensive to run. You're paying for a small army of staff, concierge, housekeeping, valets, chefs, spa therapists, at guest-to-staff ratios that would bankrupt a normal business. You're paying for marble that has to be polished, linens that have to be replaced, chandeliers that have to be cleaned, and a level of service where a single complaint can end a career. Labor is the single largest expense, and in luxury it is enormous. So after all that, what's left? Across the whole hotel industry, the average net profit margin is about 10%. Let that sink in. You spend hundreds of millions, you charge $1,000 a night, and at the end you keep roughly a dime on the dollar. Luxury does better than average on gross margins, but full-service luxury hotels carry a dirty secret. All those glamorous extras, the restaurants, the spa, the ballrooms, actually drag the profit margin down compared to a boring roadside hotel that only rents rooms. The fanciest hotels are, on a percentage basis, often less efficient than the cheap ones. The marble doesn't pay for itself. Which brings us to the first big secret. The rooms are not really the profit center you think they are. The average gross profit a hotel makes on its food and beverage operations is around 28%. And for a true luxury property, food, beverage, and events can rival or even exceed what the rooms bring in. A single wedding in the grand ballroom can generate more profit than a floor of suites. A Michelin-starred restaurant inside the hotel doesn't just make money on dinner, it lets the entire hotel charge higher room rates, because now you're not selling a bed, you're selling an experience. The pasta is not a side business. In a five-star hotel, the pasta might be the business. Now, the second trap, and this one destroys new owners. A hotel can be busy and still be bleeding money because occupancy is not profit. Imagine two identical hotels. One runs at 85% full, the other at 55%. Obviously, the busy one wins, right? Not necessarily. If the busy hotel filled those rooms by slashing prices, running the spa around the clock, and paying overtime to a full staff, the cost of reaching that occupancy can eat the entire gain. The single most important variable in this whole business is the interplay between occupancy and fixed cost. And a hotel can post a beautiful RevPAR while its actual profit quietly collapses underneath it. Revenue is not profit. Busy is not rich. Many hotel owners have learned that the hard way, and this is before the truly brutal part: ownership costs. That 10% net margin is what's left before you account for the mortgage on a $500 million building. Once you layer in debt service, property taxes, insurance, and the capital reserves you're required to hold to keep the place looking flawless, the return on the actual money invested often lands somewhere between 6 and 12% a year. For the most expensive, most prestigious, most capital-hungry asset in commercial real estate, you might earn what a boring index fund makes, while taking on staggering risk because the moment a recession hits, business travel and $1,000 a night rooms are the very first thing the world cuts. So, if the economics are this punishing, why does anyone build them? This is the masterstroke, and it's the thing almost nobody outside the industry understands. The biggest names in luxury hospitality, the brands on the front of these buildings, mostly don't own the buildings at all. They've gone asset light. Here's how it works. A wealthy investor or a fund puts up the $500 million and takes on all the risk of actually owning the real estate. Then they pay a famous hotel brand to attach its name and run the property through a management contract or a franchise agreement. The brand collects a percentage of revenue and a slice of profit year after year for essentially lending its name and its playbook. The brand has almost no capital at risk. The owner has almost all of it. Think about what that means. The company whose logo is on the door, the one you associate with the hotel, is often not the one exposed to the crushing cost of the marble and the mortgage. They took the single best part of the business, the brand and the fees, and handed the single worst part, owning the physical building, to someone else. That is why these hotel groups can run hundreds of properties without drowning in real estate debt. They figured out that in the five-star business, the most valuable thing you can own isn't the hotel, it's the name on the front of it. So, does owning a five-star hotel actually work? As a trophy, yes. As a piece of prestige real estate in an irreplaceable location that appreciates for decades? Sometimes, yes, genuinely. But as a straightforward business, the honest answer is that it is one of the hardest ways to earn a modest return that exists. You will spend more, wait longer, employ more people, and take on more risk than almost any other business to keep about 10 cents on the dollar, in an industry where a single bad year can erase it all. So, if you still want to own a five-star hotel, remember the one rule the whole industry quietly runs on. The building is the trophy. The rooms are the decoy. The restaurant and the ballroom are where the money hides. And the smartest people in the entire business looked at that gorgeous, glittering, $500 million palace and decided the winning move was to put their name on the door and let someone else pay for it.